Hello, welcome to our 10th episode. Can you believe it? Hello to our new followers, which is why we're doing this cool 20 questions exercise. Thanks for being here too, Emily. It's just so good to see your face.
Oh,
You're getting so excited.
I'm so excited to be here.
And then as kind of always, like the things that we do on our podcast, we definitely encourage you to try them if you want to. So if you want to try this with a partner or a friend or really anyone to kind of deepen your connection, maybe come up with your own questions. Some of ours might get a little weird. But yeah, we're just so happy to have anyone that's here listening right now.
Yeah. Thank you to all of our new followers. We're so happy you're here. We've gotten some great feedback from some really just unexpected people we don't know, strangers. So we're very happy to be here and playing 20 questions so that our new followers can get to know us a little better. Our old followers, if you didn't know us a little better, can get to know us a little better. And because Alyssa and I just like to chit chat about shit that we like. So without further ado, question number one. Question number one, my friend, are you an introvert or an extrovert?
So I did the Myers-Briggs quiz. I got very into this question. And I'm an ENFJ, which is extrovert, and like a feeler. But also I feel like I'm an introvert. So I don't really know, but the questions that were like, are you the kind of person that goes and talks to strangers? It's like, I am absolutely that. Yeah. So I definitely am still an extrovert. So I may have been like copped out of that one because I think both.
I'm going to make it a two-part question. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And what does the other person think you are? Because I think you're an extrovert unless you're pissed off. And then you don't want anybody to be around you. And you're an introvert and you just want to be left alone.
That is a fair assessment. I think also overwhelmed. Like when I get overwhelmed, I'm just like, I turn off.
Yeah. Stress, for sure.
I think similar to you, though. I think you're quite an extrovert when you want to be, but then you really pride yourself in being an introvert because you know it's how you recharge. I feel like that's...
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like I'm an extrovert, number one, if I'm in the mood. And number two, if I like you. If I don't like you, I don't trust you, I'm uncomfortable in the situation, I'm absolutely not walking up to strangers because stranger danger, and I don't trust anybody. These are deep-rooted issues. So I believe myself to be an extroverted introvert. I'm only extroverted to those who have earned my extrovertedness.
Yeah. Okay. With each answer, it's like, well, you're probably not going to get a black or white response.
No, there's nothing. We're all gray over here, baby. That's for sure. For sure. There's nothing black or white about us. Okay. Question number two. What podcasts are you listening to right now?
Oh yeah. So I listen to Too Much Information when I'm driving, which is these two dudes who talk about any particular topic, usually like pop culture. So a deep dive onto the Addams Family or just the most randomness. I love that. Recently, I have been listening to Salem, the podcast, because we went on a Salem trip. And also I've been dissecting Mac Miller's Swimming album, which is like a Spotify dissect. And it's been so interesting. I've never listened to like an analysis of music before in that way. So I really love that too.
Yeah, if you're a Pittsburgh native or a Mac Miller fan, this is your girl.
It's so interesting. Like he just became really talented with different like aspects of music, so much that I didn't really realize.
Yeah.
The stuff behind it.
Side note, because I'm thinking of the time, I'm not a huge Mac Miller fan, but I can appreciate. Is it called Blue Slide Park? And that's a song? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you see one of our childhood friends just took their children to Blue Slide Park? And I know that childhood friend is a huge Mac Miller fan, and my insides were just bursting with joy. They really were.
They were.
Love it. Um,
What about you? What are you listening to now?
Oh, well, let me just pull up my Spotify and I'll tell you. I'll give you a little insight. So I'm also listening to Salem the podcast. I also went on a Salem trip. Shout out to the Coven. I did not go. I went a couple weeks before listed. And fun fact, Salem the podcast is hosted by Sarah Black, who happened to be my tour guide while I was on my trip, and she is just the queen. She's so much fun. If you go to Salem, Massachusetts, and you can sign up for the I think it's like the Witches History Tour that starts at like the Samantha statue, and ask for Sarah Black as your guide. She's amazing. Or just listen to her podcast, Salem the podcast. I'm also listening to a podcast called The Cottage Witch, which is, yeah, it's so good. It's just this person who's really into like light kitchen, cottage, garden, witchcraft, just working like along the light end of it, which is very, very just fun to get insight into someone that's been practicing for a very long time. Also listening to Work in Progress with Sophia Bush. If anyone knows who Sophia Bush is, she was in John Tucker Must Die. She's also Brooke Davis in One Tree Hill, and amongst other things. But she's also an activist, and I just love listening to her points of view. The Jane Fonda episode, 10. Alyssa's shaking her head because I sent it to her. I was like, you must listen to this. That was so good. She's so good. I adore her. And on the like more uppity side of things, I listened to Cheers by Avery Woods, who is my favorite influencer on TikTok. She's just lighthearted and real as fuck. I really appreciate her point of view. And then if you're an OTH fan, I listen to a podcast called Drama Queens because, again, I'm obsessed with Sophia Bush and I want to hear everything that comes out of her mouth. Thank you so much.
I didn't really know you were so much of a One Tree Hill fan to have an acronym for it. I did not realize you were an OTHer.
Bro, I wasn't. I was late to the OTH family. I think I was like 21 when I discovered the show, and now it's not really. I love One Tree Hill, but it's really Sophia Bush. I love her. Mm-hmm. I think she's amazing. So, okay, that's my fangirling and my podcast.
Yeah, and send us any podcast you're listening to. Any listeners here too. I'm always up for like especially specific ones that someone thinks that I'll listen to, like the one Emily sent me last week that I gobbled right up. So send us anything that, you think we might like too. It would be appreciated.
Oh yeah. Wait, what's the Rainn Wilson podcast?
Oh, Soul Boom. I listened to that one like religiously. I just didn't mention it because I mentioned it in another podcast already, but shout out to Soul Boom. Rainn Wilson has a couple books, and he had like a podcast called Metaphysical Milkshake. Like he's had some really funny named things, but all of them are really trying to dig deep into like, why are we here? What will like make life more rich? What can we do about what's going on in the world right now? And like provides this connection that I think I crave as a human being sometimes. So yeah, also so much shout out to that podcast. That gives me life.
Oh man, we just love him. And if you don't know who Rainn Wilson is, Dwight is the only word you need to hear. Figure it out. Okay. Question number 3. What book or books are you reading right now?
Yeah, I love to go to the thrift store where you weigh stuff. It is my passion. And I just went and found so many books that I had been wanting to read in the bin. It's like a penny for a book. So The Body Keeps the Score is one that I've been just dying to read. And so many people have
it's so good.
You've read it?
It's so good.
Oh, good. I'm so excited. So I haven't really started reading it, but I plan to read that next. And then I am reading a graphic novel, and it's about 3 different people named Adolf, and one is Hitler. Because I was just in Poland recently and kind of did some diving into World War II. So I've been reading that, and I just love a graphic novel. It's thick, but it goes by really quickly, and there's, of course, a lot of photos. So I'm reading those 2 things right now. What about you?
I'm a sporadic book reader. I read like a few pages, and then I hop around because I don't read. I'm not a fiction reader. So I'm in the middle of Italian folk magic right now, which is a cool one. I I'm reading Healing Your Witch Wound, which is just talking about like where our ancestors come from and how you can honor them moving forward. You know, I love anything that says like the witches that were burned were the people that, you know, were the people that were actually speaking the truth, blah, blah, blah. Reading Grimoire Girl by, oh gosh, what is her name? I almost just called her Peyton, but that's just a character she played. Oh, Jesus.
What's
It's escaping me. It's escaping me. I can't even. She's a kitchen witch. Oh, Hillary Burton. God, that was gonna bother me.
Wow.
Hillary Burton is the author. And then I'm always working through Healing with Words, which we did one of our journaling episodes on by Rupi Kaur. She's my all-time favorite author. And last but not least, I'm working on a book of my own.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, this is
about that.
yes. I decided on a title this week, so I'm very excited. So more.
But you're not going to share with us right now.
It's called Dear Emily.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Yay. Thanks. All right, friend. I almost just said dream. Dream number 4. Question number 4. What or where is your dream home or living situation?
Oh, it's tough. It's really hard. This was the hardest question for me. And I love manifesting and like dreaming up things, but really I think this is where I have a block. Because I would love to live almost everywhere I go and I enjoy it. Would love to live in Salem, would love to live back in Pennsylvania where I'm from. I love living in Colorado. There are several places in this great state that I would love to call my home. Would love to have a commune someday. But when I like close my eyes and dream of a place, it's like hopefully kind of close to the beach or some water. And there's a babbling brook or stream running through my property and like maybe like a big boulder or something I can go like mess around on and lay on if I want to get away from the grass if I ever feel like it. I sure hope I have grass. A garden. But yeah, it's really vague and sadly so, but that's what I've got.
Not vague at all. Mine's very similar. I just have another part to it. I definitely want to live near water. But Troy and I have this, I guess, agreement that if we stay in Pittsburgh, that we will get a lake house in a different state. We're thinking maybe New Hampshire, Vermont, so on and so forth. So lake, right? Water needs to be in the wilderness, away from people, very relaxing. I want to be able to homestead, like you said, like have a garden, things like that. And I just want a place for people to feel like they're loved. But I'll take it a step further and say, we have worked so hard on the home that we have. And even though Pittsburgh is not my ideal location, I love my home. I love the home that Troy and I have created. I love that at any given moment I can get to my mother or my brother or my dad if I need to. So I love my home. I don't want to leave it. We put a lot of work and love into where we live. And we're just going to add a lake house for me to escape to so I don't have to be so close to the city. That's the dream. The dream, the 5-year plan, really. It's not even a dream. It's just happening.
And I was just reading when I was home that like for the 5th year in a row, I think Pittsburgh was like one of the top 5 places to like cities to live in the US. And I really don't doubt that. I was really curious on what the parameters were of that. And it was like access to healthcare, outdoor recreation, community, food. So thinking about all those things, it's like, hell yes. Pennsylvania, specifically Pittsburgh, is a wonderful place to live. Yeah. And I think the hardest thing for Caleb and I is that we really want to be close to skiing. That's how we met. That's what we love to do together. And that really starts to narrow down the options. And that is his like, will not compromise, would like to be close to skiing. But now with Emily's idea of like a lake house, it's like maybe someday I can pose the question, like, could we just like have a timeshare to go ski? Who knows?
You could just come stay at my lake house because Vermont and New Hampshire have good skiing, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but I trust it.
I love it. I love it. Okay, question number 5. Are you a cat person, a dog person, or both?
I thought I was a dog person until we got these kittens that live in my house. And also then I realized I was always a cat person because I
Yeah.
had this cat my whole life growing up, and I
It's
just
got it on your leg.
I know. I forgot how much I just like adored her. And then having like cuddly kittens was like, oh yeah, this is the greatest thing ever. So I think both, maybe like slightly leaning towards kitties because they're just the best. Cats that are like dogs would be the ideal answer. I think I know your answer, Em, but are you a dog person?
Yeah, I'm a dog. First of all, I think cats are bitches and they have hidden agendas. Even though I love all living things, I love cats from afar. Also, they just fucking piss me off, and they just I can't with the
This
cat.
is not the talk shit on cat.
I'm sorry.
This is the Celebrate Dog podcast.
Sorry. I hate cat litter. That's where I'll end it. I hate the idea of cat litter. So I love my dog, clearly. And I actually used to walk dogs, and it was the best job. I just love those dogs so much. So dog person all the way. What are you most proud of thus far in your life?
I'm just happy I'm still here. Really. I'm just proud to be here. Life has been hard and scary and fun and ugly, and I can't even pick one thing. Is that I'm just so glad to be here and proud of myself for doing that. So yeah. What about you?
I'm proud of you too. Similar. I'm most proud of myself because there were really some points in life there where we could have taken a turn and we didn't. And I think mostly what I'm most proud of is my ability to keep people around me with uplifting energy. It's not always been pretty, but I've done a really good job at weeding out the energies that no longer serve me, whether it be pretty or not. And so I think that has done wonders for my mental and physical health. So I'm most proud of that.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely view that as one of your hugest strengths is that you have so many friends from different walks of life and like really strong connections with people from kind of all over. And I just think that is really something to be proud of and like look up to and be inspired by. Yeah, I agree with your proud moment.
Thanks, friend. For pumping me up. Jeez. Thank you. Thank you so much. Question number 7. Tell us a happy memory from your childhood.
My dad had a boat for a short amount of time. And it was just so fun. We went up to the Loyal Hannah Dam, I believe, and would just like he would drive us to this island and there'd be all this mud on the side of the shore, and I could just go in the mud and no one cared because I was going to have to swim in the water to clean myself off before I got back into that boat. And it was just a forced time together on a tiny vessel, and we just had so much fun. And I think most of my childhood memories that are so vivid are nature related or just like out doing something that like still brings me joy. But being able to do it with my family when I was younger was just like the good stuff. So I love this question.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you asked it. And I want to know your answer. I'm thinking about your dad's garden right now.
I have 2 answers. One's from both of our childhoods. I giggle at this memory any chance I get to. Alyssa's dad, one time. I have so many Steve Baker stories, but one time I think we were in 7th grade and Alyssa was either already on the basketball team and practicing, or she was practicing to make the 7th grade basketball team. Either way, we were dedicated. And I had no fucking interest in basketball whatsoever, but I wanted to go because I wanted to be with my bestie. So Steve Baker puts us in his pickup truck. We're like sitting on each other's laps because it's a truck where you can only sit in the front seat. And we go to this court with Steve and his dog, Bandit, or their dog, Bandit. And as Alyssa and her dad are practicing basketball, I'm just laying full sprawl in the middle of the court with Bandit Baker, the dog, just laying. And that is the day, not only did Alyssa get to spend it with her dad, but also I got to lay in the sun with Bandit Baker. Great memory.
It was. That was such a good memory. And I remember it so vividly too.
Yes. Oh, I remember like what your dad's truck smelled like. I remember like the warmth of the sun on my face laying with Bandit. It was so good. My own personal memory, I would say, I think about this all the time. Sometimes I dream about it. There was an Easter. My parents always made holidays so much fun. And there was an Easter where Nick and I came down the stairs and there was a huge tent set up in our dining room and our Easter baskets were inside of it. And I got the Princess Diaries on VHS.
Yes.
Hell yeah. But I just remember like Nick was young enough to still believe in the Easter Bunny, but I wasn't. And I just remember like the look on Nick's face of absolute disbelief and how excited I was to see that fucking tent and that movie. And it was just so special. And it was before my parents divorced. So we were all in the same house and seemingly happy at the time. And we made so many memories in that tent. Like we used to have backyard, camping trips and we'd be outdoors with my dad and all kinds of stuff. So that's my memory. The good one.
Your parents are cool when you get a tent for Easter.
Fuck yeah.
Like what?
I think one holiday Nick and I got matching fishing rods. And the way that we differentiated them is that my dad put a turkey sticker on one so we would know which one belonged to who. It was great.
Baldy.
And
now I want to say a memory that I'm thinking about from our youth.
I'm ready.
And we can't leave out Shea Noble because so much time was spent at Emily's now stepdad's home.
Yeah.
But the slip and slide, oh my God. Emily had a huge hill in her backyard. Like we had a pool, we had a trampoline, we had this like little barn that eventually got remodeled. And then we were really balling in there because for a while it was like
an actual barn.
Yeah, an actual barn with like a witch telling us the future during Halloween.
That was my cousin Amy. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out Amy. I thought it was always just a witch. Never even thought of who that person was.
No, my cousin Amy, she's the queen.
But yeah, Emily had a giant slip and slide, the biggest one I've ever been on to this day. And it was steep and it was fast and there were so many of us and we were lawless. And I'm not going to say what happened to me.
Oh, I was going to say what happened. A stick went, not to you, a stick went up Steph's leg and she had to go to the hospital and get stitches. She still has that scar, man.
Dude, I forgot about that because I ripped my belly button ring out and we had to stick it back in.
Yeah. Man, I forgot about that. So many fatalities on that slip and slide.
But it was so fun.
Yes. So worth it. We were just reckless children. We really were.
We could time.
Yeah, we could reminisce on childhood memories all day.
And this goes back to me being proud of the fact that I'm still alive.
Bless. Okay, moving on before we just unleash them all on you guys. How do you spend your alone time?
I love to people watch. I love to go sit places by myself and think about the fact that no one really knows about me in that space and, probably isn't thinking too much about my life and my story. I like to just like ramble around. Sometimes bring a book. I'm going to be a really good old person if I can say that because that's really what I like to do. And
you already have so many good old person habits.
I know it.
Crafts. She's so crafty, guys. She'll just make anything out of anything and it turns out beautiful. It's amazing.
How do you spend your alone time?
Mostly looking at my dog. I can't even lie. Like sometimes
alone.
Yeah, no, but I'm never alone when I have Tubbs. But like alone without humans, I am always just looking at him Look at him. He has perfect mouth to nose ratio, 1-to-1. That's a joke I heard from a comedian. I didn't make that up. But when I'm not with my dog, I mean, skiing by myself is super fun sometimes. Sometimes you just need a day alone with your thoughts. Sometimes I'll binge watch like a feel good show. Friends comes to mind. Gilmore Girls, something really light, something without a lot of like dramatics to it. Sometimes I write. I don't know. I'm kind of like you. I kind of bop around. Sometimes I paint. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I draw. The other day, I drew a doodle of a girl that I work with, and I didn't realize it was her until I stopped doodling. And I was like, I don't even know this girl. Like, I don't know her personally. So it just depends. Something creative, something fun,
And how fortunate we are that you create in your alone time, because you have made such beautiful pieces of art that I get to have and look at in my alone time, and that I'm looking at right now in your art space. So I'm glad that you do those things. And also, I have watched Friends, Gilmore Girls, and now Bridgerton to prepare for just like spending time with you, because I wanted to like do Emily things. So it's been so nice.
Fun fact, I actually have your artwork as decor in my kitchen during the summer and fall months. The tiles that you painted. They're so gorgeous. I love those. We love a creative space. Yes. Question number 9. What do you admire most about, or like a trait in a friend that you value about any of your friends, all of your friends? What do you admire most?
So I asked this question to Caleb, and he corrected me, because he was like, what do I admire about the friend or a trait about the friend? And I was like, I think it's tomato, but I hear you.
You can have either.
My answer that I wrote down to like lightly prepare was that you can't be a jagoff. Like, just don't be a jerk. And then I looked up the definition, because I was home in Pittsburgh, and it is kind of Pittsburghese. And it's a slang term used to describe someone who's irritating or stupid. And really, yeah, so I guess I don't like people who are jagoffs. But what do I admire most about my friends? I love that they can just let me be me, and to some extent sometimes celebrate that. I don't really need people to celebrate me, but I really do need to be accepted with my friends. And so I think just them accepting me is enough. Bonus points if we have things in common and we can like go do something together. That's obviously incredible, but not a need. Yeah, shout out to all my friends who do all the random stuff with me that I ask them to do. What about you, Em?
I just really appreciate every person that is close to me at this point in my life puts in their version of effort, right? Like, effort looks different to everyone. I don't ever expect people to be me, but knowing who each one of my friends is individually, I see the effort that is made to just ask me how I am, how's my day going, checking in on me, taking an interest in my life. I really appreciate that about them, because I feel like I've gotten burned a lot in life where I'm like, why am I putting all this energy into this person? And they just like, it doesn't, I'm just here for, hearsay or convenience. Like, they really don't care. And it was so frustrating, and something you grow out of as you get older, and you just realize you don't have time to put up with it anymore. So I would say every single person, like, I'm thinking about my bachelorette party coming up, every single person in attendance, and the people that could not attend but were invited, just put in effort to understand me, care about my life, inquire, it's just, I appreciate it, because life is hard and busy. And when you're an adult, giving a shit about what's going on in other people's lives is so hard, because you just want to rest. So I really appreciate that about all of my friends, including you.
You set the standard really well, though, because I think sometimes it's hard for me to reach out. And so it's just nice that you give it and you get it, and you make it look good, and you make it look like it's what other people should want to do. And it's just it's really beautiful. I'm also excited for your bachelor party.
It's going to be a good group of women. Just so you guys know, this is happening in 2 weeks, so it's very much on the brain. It's on the brain. All right. Question number 10. We're halfway through. Tell us something unexpected about yourself.
I have so many plants in my house. And also I have disco balls and like light refractor things on my windows. And I get so much immense joy from that. I don't know if it's unexpected, but it's just like so much enjoyment for me and some little things. I'm super looking forward to when it's winter and the leaves fall off, and so more sun can come into my windows and the cats can like perhaps chase the light around and stuff. But it's just like one of the best parts of my day every day, and I just notice. And sometimes it's rainbows and sometimes it's just like, you know, the reflection of a disco ball. But yeah, just something random that is just so awesome. Yeah.
I feel like, well, wait, I feel like something also unexpected about you, like the perception that people have of you is this extroverted, like we'll go up and dance with strangers and blah, blah, blah. And I think that it goes back to the first question also, where like you guys would be shocked at how introverted she can really be. Like she can turn it off, man. And I think that people that don't know you that well, when they experience it for the first time, they almost take it personally, like, oh shit, when really it's just part of who you are. So I think that's unexpected about you as well, but also beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It took a while for like me to be able to say no to things and then people to be okay with that. Because for so long I just really didn't say no to anything, and now I do, and that's fine. So yeah.
Bro, we can't say yes to everything. We'd be tired. We're in our 30s.
Like you said, we need rest.
I need to rest.
What's something unexpected about you?
Something unexpected about me. Other than the one time I dyed my hair for my sister's wedding, my natural hair color is actually like ash blonde. I was a blonde kid, and it's like a dirty ash blonde, and my hair has been black for as long as anyone can remember. And also in reference to that, like I only wear dark colors. Like I wear, even regardless of the way that my physical appearance comes off, I'm a olive green, earth tones, wear black all the time, girly, but I love color. Like the wall behind me right now is neon blue, and all of my artwork is just pops of color. And I love color so much, I just don't wear it. So I feel like if you meet me and don't know me, or you just see me out in person, you'd be like, oh, like, okay, you know, I feel the vibe. But really the vibe is I love color so much, I'm just not going to wear it.
Well, you wear that bright blue on your nails, and I just love it. Yes, currently, yeah. You and you have for a while. You've rocked that color like on and off, and it's just a good color for you.
Oh, thank you.
You don't, wear a bright blue, shirt and hat.
Yeah. You wear all the colors and I wear none of them. We even each other out. So
yeah,
good.
I've been saying it's my pink and orange era, which is very bright. And
oh man, those look so good on you though. It was a purple era for a while, and now you're the pink and orange. The pink and orange is really, it's doing it for you. I love it.
And then another thing is that, I think some people may expect this, but the amount that Emily knows about Disney and musicals and theater and everything that is Disney is truly like incredible. I don't even know how deep your library goes of knowing all that stuff, but it is so unexpected. Even to me still, I'm like, how does Emily like just switch to this intense part of her life?
I do. You know what? That's a good point, actually. I think musicals more than Disney, because Disney is like nostalgic. You grow up with it. But I am a Disney adult, and I'm not ashamed to say it. But also, I think musicals are very unexpected for me. Like when Troy first met me and I was like, oh, my family's in theater and Wicked is the best show I've ever seen. And also you have to go see Little Women. And like one of my best friends is an actress and we're going to all of the shows. And He's very open to it, of course, but he was just like, what is happening here? And I was just like, yeah, I'm like a freak. Sorry. That one's definitely unexpected. If you don't know, if you like hear my personality on this podcast, but you don't know me very well, yeah, for sure. That's a different one. Good call out. All right. Bring us home with the final 10.
My 10, yeah. Tell me something unexpected about something you want to do.
Unexpected about something I want to do. I kind of answered that a little bit earlier. I don't think anyone expected me to want to write a book. But I do, and I'm very inspired by Rupi Kaur and other artists that are similar to her. Mine is going to be less like poetry and more like excerpts, like Dear Emily writing to myself. But hopefully it reads like poetry. That's my hope. So like these shorter excerpts that was inspired by these women, but in a different format. So I don't really think a lot of people saw that coming from me. How about you?
I love that was a chance to get to know more about your book. That was very unexpected. And one of like the most powerful tools of homework for people in therapy who want to do the work is like writing letters to themselves, particularly like your younger self. But I think just like having that vulnerability with your own self and in that like Dear Emily format feels really powerful already. And I love that you're naming it Dear Emily. It just feels like there's so much that could come from that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
What do you got?
And your gifts.
Tell me what you got.
Something unexpected that I really want to do is, I have my motorbike license. Like I have my motorcycle license, but I don't have a motorbike.
You do?
I do. I just really want to ride a motorbike. I am a little scared because it's dangerous. And then also my roommate is a paraglider and I'm so interested in becoming a paraglider too. These are both just like dangerous and expensive things I want to do. So they will wait. And I think at some point I will get to them, but
yeah,
it's not like by the time you're 35, if you don't do this, you're going to have a midlife crisis. It's just like, nah, I'd like to do that sometime.
Shout out Kevin for the paragliding.
Yeah. He's been so stoked on it for so long that I think it just inevitably has rubbed off on me. I have a roommate for like 4 or 5 years now who's a homie. So that's Kevin.
Love you, Kevin. Not me not knowing that you had your motorcycle's license and I've been friends with you for 2 decades. What is happening? I love that. I'm terrified for you, but that's amazing. Good for you.
Thanks. And then my grandma, who's 79, she really wants to zip line. So I think this year I'm going to try to get us a reservation at Seven Springs to zip line if you want to come. But
please put me on that. I will be there. I will be there.
I'm really putting her to the test because she keeps talking about it. And I'm like, okay, we're going to do it, So we'll see if she actually does it. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out to my sweet little Graham too.
I must be present for Graham ziplining.
She'd probably feel better with you being there because she's known you for so long. She's like, okay, someone who can be with me if I die that knows me.
Witness my death. Oh, funny. You're not gonna die, Graham. You're gonna have so much fun.
Okay, my next question is like, I was thinking about Avatar, which is one of my favorite TV shows. It's not the movie, but the movie is also really good. Anyways, what bender are you? So what's your favorite element? Earth, fire, air, or water, and why?
Well, I'm an Aquarius, which is a water sign. So I immediately am drawn to water, but also, fun fact, our friend Brandon that wrote our intro music over at Visions and Reiki Soul Spa, he is my Reiki master, and water comes into every reading that I have. If you've been around me and we're like in like a natural environment, you're going to see me go touch the water. I've always just been drawn to water. It's just my thing. I will stop mid-hike, sit in it, touch it, got to get my face close to it. That's my shit. And it's very interesting because in my reading that I literally just had, I think it was on Monday, whatever day this week it was, where there used to be fire, in some of my chakras was being replaced with water, and he was like, whoa, this is so epic. Let me tell you all about it. So I'm going water. I'm going water. How
Wow.
about
As a Scorpio, I am fire. I think I definitely embodied that for a very long time. And certainly have moments where I do now. I can be pretty sporadic and like excitable. I can like really, have a strong run of like dancing really hard for some time and then calm. But I do think as I'm like aging and just like working on myself, I also feel like water kind of starts to come into play, and like airiness, being a little like more, I want to say fluid, though that wouldn't be the correct word for being airy. But I'm trying to gravitate more towards water, and I think I'm like passing through air to get there. So yeah, I think I would love to be an airbender if we're talking about Avatar, because like it'd be sweet to fly. But
Amen.
I strive for like having a bit of a watery kind of like feeling and vibe. And if you do listen to the Dissect podcast of Mac Miller's swimming album, I mean, you swim in water. His goal, which I did not know, was to like try to make you feel like you're swimming throughout his music. So he expresses that like the electric guitar, if played in a certain way, will like make you feel like water. And I just really had no idea that this whole like swimming themed album had so much to actually do with the sound of water, the feeling of water. And I just think water is a really peaceful space, or really destructive, but all of those things.
Yeah, I love that for you. I think too, like as you move and shift, you can be and feel and do multiple things, because I also feel like every time something significant happens, a gust of wind comes in my life. That's something that happens for me. So maybe you connect with one thing, but you feel them all. Magic.
We're so grateful and like lucky to have all of those elements in our lives too. Number 4, maybe 3. I'm kind of going out of order. What song are you listening to on repeat right now?
Oh man. Okay.
I'm so glad you didn't like prepare for these ones, because I'm so curious.
I'm so embarrassed by my answer. So going back to the unexpected, yesterday morning, for the entirety of my workout, I listened to The Wizard and I from Wicked the Musical, because I was just like, fuck yeah, girl, you do you. In normal people music, I very much like, I just got done hearing the Dirty Heads live, so I've had like Sloss Revenge, Mad at It, all of that good shit on repeat right now. How about you?
Nice. If anyone's ever heard Emily listen to the Dirty Heads, it is a sight to behold. She knows like every word to these raps that are like not slow and not simple. They're like very specific, beautiful raps. So it's really fun. And then you get like Emily and Troy, and it's just like really fun.
Just wait until you get Emily, Troy, and Steph.
Yes.
It's like the 3 of us standing in line at that concert is a vision you can't ever unsee it.
I am listening to Sierra Farrell's new album called Trail of Flowers, but this one song is called I Could Drive You Crazy, and it is so good. Sierra Farrell is kind of like Dolly Parton, really. She's like the modern day Dolly Parton, and her voice blows me away. She's almost sounding like she's yodeling sometimes. She has such a range, and it's like a sillier song about like her driving someone crazy, and I just cannot stop listening to it. She actually just released a Tiny Desk concert too yesterday. So if you do want to listen to Sierra Farrell, she's very like theatrical too. She always has really crazy outfits, and she's from West Virginia and was like addicted to drugs for a while and like just really has blown up and been, I think, kind of like trading one addiction to creating like really beautiful music. So that's my rant about Sarah Farrell. I love her.
Send me that song when we hang up.
I will. I sent you Fox Hunt from it too, which is
I listened to it. It was so good. And just so everyone knows, I'm obsessed with foxes right now. So, okay.
So good. I just love music. So we're kind of staying on the music train. And you can answer either or all, and it's really hard for me to answer this one too, but like your favorite musicians of all time, or the best concert you've ever been to, or like the concert you wish you could go to that, maybe the person's dead or something like that.
Yeah. Favorite musician of all time is so hard because I have so much love for so many genres of music. I'll go with great concerts I've been to. Elton John, phenomenal, insane, absolutely ridiculous. Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, outstanding. Dirty Heads, obviously, an absolute fucking banger every time I see them. And honestly, just the experience of like seeing it with people I love is what keeps me going back. A Day to Remember, 10 out of 10, always. They always put on a great show. I would say like I'll wrap it up because I could name so many artists, but I'll wrap it up with one that kind of leans to the left. In if you ever get the chance to see Andrea Bocelli live, you will not be disappointed. It is the most gorgeous thing your ears will listen to, and I highly recommend.
My grandpa loves him, and he is just incredible. I wish I could see Celine Dion. I did not know that she could hit that like opera range kind of music too. Because when I think of Andrea Bocelli, I'm like thinking about classical opera. He's just so good, and he's blind too. Yeah,
he is. Oh, a concert I missed because I was at the Dirty Heads concert was Idina Menzel, who is the original voice of Elphaba from Wicked and also the voice of Elsa for Frozen. For you swine that don't know what Wicked is, but. You will come Thanksgiving because there's a movie coming out, but and also many other things. She was she's just amazing, and I would love to hear her sing live.
I do.
Oh, how about you?
If I could see Talking Heads in their prime, that'd be my like wish list. Of course, Queen. Like, oh my gosh, I would love to see those bands live.
I hate Queen. I'm sorry. Don't come for me.
That's okay. That's fine. You named like some like quite intense like performers too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just their voice. There's so much to it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like how I was thinking about Queen a bit. But my favorite musicians of all time that, are still around. I love Glass Animals.
Yeah.
I'm missing them to go to your bachelorette party, which is fine. I might try to see them somewhere else. Love them. Just went to A Day to Remember, and they still got it. Best concert I've ever been to? That's such a hard question, too. I live super close to Red Rocks, so I'm so fortunate to have seen a lot of shows there. Recently, I saw like Raccoons climbing on the rocks at Red Rocks and like getting to see the sunset. Like there's so much more to just the music for like the best concert you've ever been to. And I really like love the atmosphere of places like natural amphitheaters. One time I watched like 7 Shooting Stars from a venue called the Mishawaka Amphitheater in Colorado. So I really just love to like explore around different venues and check them out too.
Wait. I thought of 3 more. And then I'll be done, I promise. First of all, Cage the Elephant puts on an absolutely epic show, and I'm missing that show to go to my bachelorette party. So, fuck. Hippocampus.
Such a good time.
I know. Hippocampus, if you don't know who they are, start to know who they are. They put on an amazing show. And then what was the third one?
I just saw them at Red Rocks. They were so good.
Hippocampus? Oh my God. Oh my God. So good. So good. I can't remember what the third one was, but I was inspired. Anyways, move on before I go off on a tangent.
Yeah, I should probably also stray away from the favorite musicians. But one cool thing I've been doing is I have a playlist of live music I've seen or heard or whatever. It's called Live Music, I've seen. And I just pick one song from each concert I go to, and then when I listen to it, I'm like, oh my God, so many good memories. Because I know some people like keep lists of all the music they've seen, which is fantastic. But for me to have a playlist to like go and remind myself, oh, you heard this random band one time, it brings me a lot of joy. So
I love that.
yeah, I love these questions.
Me too.
Okay, next question. How would you spend a rainy day? I've had so many rainy days here in Colorado, so that's where that came from.
I would make myself a warm cup of decaf coffee. I would take a book and something to write with, maybe something to draw with, and I would sit on my side porch with Troy and my dog and listen to the rain and smell the rain and just spend it sitting on the porch.
That's what I wanted from that. I just wanted to be guided through a wonderful rainy day.
What would you do?
I am deep into my Fellowship of the Rings, Lord of the Rings Lego set. I've been working on it since January, and it is huge. It is beautiful. It's so fun. And I only do it on rainy days because I feel guilty if it is a beautiful day out and I'm doing it. And also, it's just such a long project, and I want to really be able to savor it and not just like hyper focus and be done with it in, a whole entire long day. So yeah, Legos is always my rainy day go-to. I don't know what I'm going to do when I finish this Lego project, but
you are a Lego queen. I love
Legos, man. I need to sell some so I can buy some more because we're starting to get to the point of like, is this ridiculous? But we'll face that after I finish the Lord of the Rings set.
You're amazing. I love that.
Yeah, but Lord of the Rings is like my absolute favorite ever, anything ever. It's my study music. It's my sad TV. It's my happy TV. It's definitely my rainy day. So while I've been building the Legos, you better believe I've watched through Lord of the Rings like 2 times this year already.
Fun fact.
Love it.
Fun fact about Alyssa. She's been to, what is it? It's not a set. It actually exists. What do they call
it?
The Shire.
Mata.
Yeah. She lived when you lived in New Zealand, right?
I did. And I wept. And I went by myself, as you do when you're just living so far away by yourself. But it was incredible. And they take such good care of the space. It looks just like it did in the movies. It's all real. I mean, of course, like some of the scales are weird because like there's tiny little hobbits, but it's just phenomenal. So if you ever get the chance to do this very random tourist thing, do it.
Bucket list.
I've been asking this question so much lately to just anyone who will have a stupid conversation with me, but what is your Mount Rushmore of comedians? So if you went to Mount Rushmore, who would be the 4 faces of your comedians?
Oh my God, I love this question. Okay, I'm ready. First of all, my 2 queens, Eliza Schlesinger and Taylor Tomlinson, period. I actually only need 2 heads. I live by the words that they say. I just need a white person, not a white person, God. I just need a person in a white coat to tell me I'm stupid. Like that is anxiety. I love you, Taylor Tomlinson, and Eliza Schlesinger is just the queen of hilarious feminism. I probably would also put Cat Williams on there. I mean,
Tato mate.
Yes, exactly. Poor little Tink. And I might catch a lot of flack for this, but I love Kevin Hart. I just think he's so funny.
It's a great answer.
Yeah. Tell me, because I have more. So tell me what your 4 are. I have so many more. I love stand-up comedians.
Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson were narrating the Olympics recently.
It was so
really
good.
Funny. Yeah.
So funny.
It had me giggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would be on my mom's Mount Rushmore for sure. She loves Kevin Hart.
Me too.
For me, I was disappointed because I did not have like women in my first round of what I thought. It was just all white dudes. I would love to pick Abby and Alana from Broad City. I love that show, but I'm thinking about like
stand up,
classic, not even stand up, just like I'm thinking Adam Sandler, I
Yes.
love him so immensely. I just saw his stand-up actually last year, and it was really funny. He also had like 7 guitars, and he would randomly like pick up a guitar and play a funny song too.
Yeah.
So he really like solidified himself on my Mount Rushmore. Gene Wilder, you know,
Yes.
the guy from Willy Wonka.
Mhm.
I think he's incredible, and he's more of like a movement kind of actor too, physical actor.
Physical
Yeah,
comedy, yeah.
yeah. Who else? Jim Carrey, I think, is so absurd, and I know some people really hate him, but I mean, if you can get in that Grinch costume for like however long it took to shoot that, I just thought he was so funny. I
Mhm.
can't remember my other one. Robin Williams, all the
Yes.
way.
Always. Have you watched the videos of Robin Williams stand up from like the 90s?
No, but I've been saying him, and people have been like, "You need to watch his older
You,
stuff."
you need to watch his
Yeah.
stand-up comedy. It's so good. Or like before Ellen DeGeneres had a talk show, her stand-up was hilarious, just so funny. Yeah, I love that Mount Rushmore. That's a good one. Also, on like the floor of Mount Rushmore, on the bottom, like a second layer, I would add John Mulaney and Jim Gaffigan.
Oh yes. Oh, John Mulaney is in The Bear, which I don't know if you've been watching that. He's Caleb's favorite comedian too.
I love
And
him.
he's been in stuff with Pete Davidson. He's like best friends with Pete Davidson. And I know people hate on him. I think he's hilarious. Like that is kind of my humor. If you want to look up some like funny Pete Davidson movies, he's created a lot of like movies and documentaries of like funny, like loose documentaries. I love him.
We need 3 Mount Rushmores for this question. Thank you so much.
What's a quote you live by? Does something come to your mind?
Yes, I actually have one right above me right now. And I look at it every single day. And it says, "You don't need to be saved or rescued. You need knowledge of your own power and how to access it."
Boom. Do you know, where did you find that?
No idea. It's been written above my desk for like 4 years.
That's beautiful and really empowering.
Yeah. How about you?
Honestly, like I'm not really good at remembering quotes, and so I think I live by this. But Rafiki, damn it.
Hell
From
yeah.
The Lion King. The past hurt, but the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. And he smacks Simba over the head with his stick, and he tells that quote. Yeah. I mean, Hakuna Matata is also a really good quote. But just ones that I think have just been ingrained in my brain for a very, very long time. And I think that learning from the past is really powerful and being able to use it for good. And I think that's, somewhat of how this podcast came to be too. So thanks, Rafiki. Thanks, random cartoon monkey.
Shout out Rafiki, but also fun fact, Alyssa and I obsessed with The Lion King when we were younger and also as adults. We're not even mad at it.
I mean, it is one of like the greatest soundtracks. It's what got me into Emily's like weird theater world.
And not for you younger people out there, not the new age one with Seth Rogen as the hyena. No, the original 90s animated Lion King, period. And then you can go see the musical in a theater and you'll be like, who is Seth Rogen? Even though he's funny, it's better.
I was gonna say I do love Seth Rogen. He's like very close to my Mount Rushmore.
Sure, but not in The Lion King. Different things.
Truth. Okay, we're kind of nearing the end. So one question that just came to my brain is like, what's something you've learned from doing this podcast, or like what has surprised you, or a podcast related question?
I think this podcast has just brought me a lot of pride. I've heard from, like I said earlier, strangers or just like unexpected people about how we've influenced them to do this or they appreciated this. I've even had people in my personal life say like, I really enjoy listening to you guys. It's something zen for me to do. And it just really, it helped me boost my confidence a little bit. My confidence has been a little bit low the last few years. And I didn't really expect that. I kind of expected Alyssa and I to get on here and record our words and our moms would listen to it and call it a day. But it's actually taking off in a way that I'm really proud of. So that's mine. How about you?
Honestly, like just I mean, not even solidifying, but I'm just so impressed by how well we work together and like plan for stuff. And I don't think we've ever really, like, we have always scheduled a time to talk to each other, and it's usually around once a month, but we have never like made Google Calendar invites and done it multiple times a month, a year, in this way. And I think also, like, what's that quote? Like, don't get into business with your best friends. It's like, I would absolutely get into business with you, Emily. Like,
We're already here.
But like, I think that we could do it very well, and really enjoy it. And it just feels really, really good. And I think that like really surprised me on how good it feels to just like be working on something with someone I love so much. It's incredible. If you ever get the chance, anyone, to ever like celebrate your best friends in any format, like it's just the best. I'm having so much fun. So
I'm glad. Me too. And just so our friends out there know, this podcast is step one. We have so many big plans coming and we're just gearing up to get them going. So give us some time and you'll definitely see more of us.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is 9. I wrote everything in Spanish, like nueve diez. I don't know what I was thinking. What do you want people to know about you? And then this is the question that your podcast gal asked at the end, and I loved it. What is your work in progress? I think your podcast is called Work in Progress, but what is your work in progress?
Yes, Sophia Bush, my queen, hosts a podcast called What's Your Work in Progress, or Work in Progress. And at the end of every single recording that she has with her guests, she asks them, what's your work in progress? So I love this question. I think right now my work in progress is my book, for sure. And after having my Reiki session on earlier this week, I think my work in progress, which has always been a thing for me, is just really understanding what I can do in the nuances of letting go of stress and handling my anger in a healthy way. We're getting better. We're doing well, but there's always room for progress there. And what I want people to know, I would say I stand by every choice that I've made in life. And if you caught a little bit of that anger or a little bit of my wrath, I could apologize, but I won't. Because you probably earned it. I just could have handled it better. So
it's like a nice, like, kind of apology in a way, but
I'm not apologizing. I'm
not needing to.
I'm not apologizing. I'm just owning. I will not apologize.
Doubling down.
Yeah, I will not apologize for being who I am. But what I want people to know is that my anger comes from a place of wanting. It comes from a place of respect. It comes from a place of wanting my friends to do well, my family members to be respected, for me to be respected. I don't do well when I see people I love, or when I'm disrespected. It just doesn't go well for me. So it's not an apology. It's just an ownership, and also recognizing that it ties into my work in progress, in the fact that I am learning better ways to vocalize it. And that's it. That's all I got.
She's doing the work, folks.
How about you?
Well, if anyone is still listening to this at this point, thank you so much. And I'm wondering if you all have an idea of what our question should be at the end, because I think going forward, we'd eventually like to start having people on this podcast and, like, us being able to ask other people really cool questions. And so, yeah, I think having like some kind of question is interesting, and I have no idea what that should be, but that's my little rant on that. And then I think, my work in progress is definitely the podcast. I really want to listen to them. I cannot listen to my own voice still, so I still need to work on that. I annoy myself. My thoughts in my head sound way different than the voice that comes out of my mouth. So that's work in progress.
I text her and I'm like, it sounds so good. I'm so proud of us. And she's like, oh, thank God. I hate listening to myself.
And I edit it too. And I'm like, even just when I have to hear the intro to to put the sounds on, I'm working on that.
You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie, as Kris Jenner would say.
Thanks. And then what do I want people to know? I don't know. It's like hard for me to feel like I belong in a space. It's like hard for me to feel like I've earned like the right to share things, and it's really hard. And being a lifelong scholar and everything, I think has been one way to like curb that insecurity. And now that I'm a licensed therapist, I still am like, where is my voice? What am I doing? Do I have anything worth saying? And I think that's also the work in progress. And, doing like the opposite of your lurch inside sometimes can be powerful. So like doing this podcast is a very probably powerful thing for my own mental health to challenge myself. So I don't know what I want people to know, but I do want you to know that I'm glad you're here.
Well, and I think that comes down to you're trying. And being someone that's known you for 2 decades, I see it. Like, I remember a time when, like, even just in relationships with people where you wouldn't use your voice. And I would be like, why do you put up with that shit? And now you don't. And I'm really proud of you. So good job, friend.
Thanks. You too. We're just doing the work. We're all just work in progress. And, it's important to just keep trying. Really, that's all. And my final question is like, what do we admire most about each other? Like, what do you like about me?
Everything. I like everything about you. I would say, like, if I had to really sum up the thing that I admire most about you is that it's human nature for us to care about what other people think of us, so on and so forth. But like, you really embody the fact that you don't. You will dance in public. You will walk up to that stranger. You will blow bubbles in people's faces. You will giggle and have a good time when everyone else around you is cranky because life is too short. You just have this inner child that cannot be tamed, and it never should be. And I feel like as adults, we lose this whimsical, just magic feeling about how great the world actually can be because we know too much. We have too much information. There's too much bad shit going on around us. And even in the midst of all of that, you're like, let's blow bubbles into the sun. And like, how pretty is that leaf? And also, do you want to spin in a circle and then fall down? Like, it's the most brilliant thing about you. And it leads the way that you approach things in life, which makes it so much more fun to be your friend and to be around you.
Aw. Yeah.
I love it.
I thought you blowing some bubbles this past week. I love to see it.
Oh yeah, shout out to Travis for going to get those for me. Love you.
I mean, it's so beautiful to see who shows up when you start blowing bubbles too. Like the amount of like children you attract, and sometimes dogs, and really awesome people. Like, it's just a great way to like be around the people that you want to be around. Follow the bubbles and you'll find some really nice people.
Oh yeah.
But about my Emily, it's like, it's so much, but like she really guards and protects her space and herself and the people around her. And if you're not one of those people, that really sucks for you. But if you get to be one of those people, the way that Emily makes you feel is just like so loved. Like, going into your childhood home, like I was just always so taken care of, whether it was by you, only you, or your mom making me yummy treats and like telling me how nice my posture was. Like, like just so many good compliments going around in this family. And then like, moving to Emily's adult life in her home. Oh my gosh, there's like no place I'd rather go than Emily's house. just like the way she decorates it and has like these themes to different seasons, like just so much great care and appreciation put into the space, which makes such a like a beautiful like coming together of people. And she can bring anyone together because if she loves you, then we all like each other. And it's just like really cool because that is not the case in like many worlds. So the Emily and Troy Chubbs world is like a really fun world to get to be a part of if you're lucky. So
Thank you, friend.
yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. If I love you, I'm gonna go to bat for you. And if I don't, you're gonna get hit with the bat. Thank
Oh man, my new favorite quote.
Thank you for that compliment. But that is the end of our 20 questions. And
we did it.
We did it and we had fun doing it. And we hope to hear your answers to some of these questions for those of you that are out there listening. And we hope maybe, you know, you got something out of this, maybe a new podcast, maybe some new artists to listen to, maybe a little bit more information about the people that you're listening talk about these sensitive subjects that we talk about. So we're so grateful to you for being here and we love you so much. And the next time you hear from us, we will be recording together in the same room. And we're very, very excited to talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Soul Sisters.